before Gary Bettman comes aboard, because there's certain elements of that agreement in hindsight weren't so great from the owner's side, arbitration being one of them. And on paper, it seemed to be a better agreement than it was applied in principle, because what you don't see on paper is, oh, a guy's a Group 2, he doesn't want to play, he's going to hold out, the fans are complaining, the media's complaining, and you're like, geez, I don't want to overpay this guy, but the same people that say ticket prices are too high are the same people that are telling me, get this guy on the ice, so you're kind of screwed one way or screwed the other. You mentioned earlier about ownership. A lot has changed in the NHL in 10 years. First of all, we've gone from 7 goals a game down to 4.5. That's been a big change. Another thing are the ownership groups. Here is what is left from the last lockout. Only Detroit, Anaheim, Chicago, Boston, and Carolina with Peter Carmanos, and they've moved from Hartford to Carolina. And speaking of Gary Bettman, here he is now live in New York City. Let's go there now.
The greatest athletes in the world have treated the greatest fans in the world to a spectacular display of hockey, the greatest sport in the world. For the past 2 weeks, we have also seen how the league and the Players Association, working together as partners with common objectives and a commitment to fan satisfaction, can produce an extraordinary result. It is truly unfortunate that the union's willingness to partner with us does not extend from international competition in the hockey arena to the collective bargaining arena. We are here today because union leadership refused for more than a year to make any kind of proposal whatsoever, and during the same period rejected 6 separate NHL proposals that would have modernized our league's economic system as other professional sports have done. I stand here today to say that we owe it to hockey's fans to achieve an economic system that will result in affordable ticket prices and stable, competitive franchises. The very future of our game is at stake, and the NHL's owners are united as never before, determined to do everything humanly possible to bring hockey's economic system into the 21st century. We have no other choice. For the past several years, as flaws in the current economic system have been increasingly difficult to overcome, we at the National Hockey League have done everything possible to negotiate a new collective bargaining agreement that would work day in and day out to serve the best interests of everyone involved. Sadly, those efforts have not achieved their objective. And as the league stands at the threshold of the conclusion of the current CBA, which occurs at midnight tonight, it is my somber duty to report that at today's meeting, the NHL Board of Governors unanimously reconfirmed that NHL teams will not play at the expiration of the CBA until we have a new system which fixes the economic problems facing our game. This action is not taken lightly or eagerly, and when the union wants to stop the posturing and acknowledges that the problems are as real as our governors resolve to fix them, we will be here ready to make a fair and meaningful agreement that will ensure and usher in a new era for our game. League revenues have grown dramatically to over $2.1 billion US annually over the course of this 10-year collective bargaining agreement. At the same time, the league created 100 new NHL player jobs, and now roughly 75% of our revenues, of every dollar earned, goes directly to player costs. Over the 10-year span of the current collective bargaining agreement, as the average player's salary has grown to more than $1.8 million a year US, the clubs have lost more than $1.8 billion. Despite the staggering losses, our owners have gone to great lengths to preserve all 30 franchises and now are determined to make this a viable sport with 30 healthy franchises in the markets in which they are currently located. This is exactly what we intend to do. 20 of our clubs are losing money. There have been too many bankruptcies and too many other close calls. I have had too many owners tell me that they will get out of this game if the economics are not repaired. The losses cannot continue. We know it, and we made it clear to the union that this was the set of facts a long time ago. There is no shortcut and no quick fix. We need an enforceable, definable relationship between revenues and expenses. We need a system that will eliminate the disparities in payrolls so that a team's ability to compete depends on its team-building skills, not on its ability to pay. We believe that such a business model can and must be crafted in a partnership that creates shared rewards. In July, we offered the union 6 different creative, groundbreaking methods by which those partnership objectives could be obtained. Included in those frameworks was a willingness for the players to receive more than 50% of every dollar of revenues our business generates, over $1 billion. It may be less than the players are getting now, but we will not apologize for an offer that is more than fair. We offered the union systems that would continue to pay multi-million-dollar salaries to our star players. We will not apologize for player contracts that could still be in excess of $6 million a year, even if some of the players would make less than they're now getting. We offered the union systems that would provide an average player salary of $1.3 million US per season. An average of $1.3 million per season may be less than the players are getting now, but we will not apologize for a 1.3 average salary. That said, we do apologize to our millions of fans and the thousands of people that earn their livelihoods depending upon our game. It is truly unfortunate that we have to go through this. I assure you that no one is more unhappy about this situation than I am. My pledge at this difficult moment is that we will correct this untenable situation the right way. Not with Band-Aids, not with half measures, but in a way that will ensure the health and excitement of our game for years to come. The game's future depends upon getting the right new economic system. In the absence of such a system, there is no future for our game. As difficult as today is, the reality is we had no choice in the face of the union's continued refusal to address the economic problems that are clear to everyone but them. When we offered the 6 systems to the union discussed them with us for about 8 hours, an average of a bit more than an hour per system, with the future of the game at stake, and the union basically rejected our proposals, all 6, out of hand. And the reason? Because they say they're all salary caps. Under this union's definition of a salary cap, any system that links revenues to expenses or otherwise defines the employee's share is a salary cap. There probably isn't any collective bargaining agreement in any industry under this definition that isn't a salary cap. As a result, under the union's definition, virtually every other union in every other industry has agreed to a collective bargaining agreement that is a salary cap. The union says we want a marketplace, but they cannot explain why a system like the current CBA, which provides for artificial raises based on qualifying offers, which provides for salary arbitration, which provides guaranteed multi-year contracts regardless of the level of continued player performance, why that is a marketplace, but a system with a fair negotiated percentage of gross revenues going to the players as a group is not a marketplace. Makes no sense.